I see Hassan's offline. Is he dead? Am I number one now? Did it happen? I kid. I hope he's all right. Of course. Hello. Finally? Finally. You people. What the hell is happening at 6 a.m.? What are you, European? I went to bed when Azan was on the highway. Is he still alive? He got out of the highway when you need to. He's going to another protest tomorrow? Okay, happy to hear that. It's been,
in terms of the agency targeting immigrants who do not have their correct authorization to be in the United States, who are committing some acts of violence and setting fires. He's saying they're insurrectionists, and that is, as we have been pointing out tonight, not a randomly chosen word. That is an important word because...
Okay. I see they got the horses out.
Freeway.
Extremely upsetting footage. Here's cops trying to murder a guy. Okay. Here's your LAPD when they think no one's looking.
Peaceful protests and enforce the law when criminal acts occur. The LAPD remains focused on its core mission to protect lives, safeguard constitutional rights, and serve every neighborhood in Los Angeles with integrity. Let me open it up now for any questions you might have or any points that we can clarify.
Yep, that's the LAPD that I know and love. That looks about right. Just trying to get an accidental kill in there.
Yeah, if I don't know what basis they use to make that decision, but if that...
Yeah, that's attempted murder for sure. Well, don't expect to see any consequences. That's actual attempted murder? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. They hit an Australian? Rubber bullet?
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up. You okay?
Now that's the LAPD that I know and love. Oh, good thing she wasn't wearing shorts, I suppose. Jesus. Look, they aimed right at her. Yeah, no shit. According to News Corp, she was caught in the crossfire. Oh, of course, of course. Oh, yeah, of course. This is one of the merits of real denim. Now, not to get into it, but... No, it's, not great. What would you consider a win for the protesters at this point? I'm just gonna take this out on you. Shut the fuck up for a second, okay? I'm not you know, football commentator drawing red lines over a game, okay? Just give me a second. I just got here, okay? Just... You could literally see the cop look at her and shoot. It's wild. Okay, just to let you guys know, every time someone gets shot by a rubber bullet, it's because a cop raised their gun and fired at them. You know that, right? Like, that's what the cop has to do for the rubber bullet to go out and hit them. Like, it's all, like, they're always psychopaths, is what I'm saying.
You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good. Are you okay?
Fucking freak. They're supposed to aim them at the ground? Yeah, but cops, like... Cops don't do that. Because that's, like, gay. You know?
peaceful protest.
This one's really crazy, though. I mean, I don't want to, you know, I'm kind of being a little cynical right now, but this is just like videotaped attempted murder. I mean, this is borderline like Rodney King shit. I mean, it's that egregious. That's really, 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 really bad. Did they get the horse to step on them? Yeah, they're trying to get the horses to trample, which can very easily kill someone. Very, very easily. Yeah, if a horse hits you and like kick you in the head, that's it. That's just it. Straight kick to the head is, I mean, I'm not saying it's worse than getting a bullet to the head. It's not, but it's pretty bad. Is Trump going to escalate this even more and go full fascist? Okay, I'm going to take this out on you again. Please shut the fuck up. Stop with the big questions, okay? Just, like, for one, yes, but also, just no big questions, okay? Right now, we're focusing on specific things. Does my crush like me? They're a fucking Magic 8-Ball ass streamer. Smaller question, what's the cause for the stream? The Los Angeles Police Department declared all of downtown LA as an unlawful protest zone. So dispersals are taking place across the entirety of downtown LA, which is a big area. How does this compare to the famous LA riots? The famous LA riots are special, okay? It would take quite a bit for them to reach that point. They were big. Thousands of buildings burnt down. That is a lot of cops.
You see, they took a little bit of the fire and they returned it.
Will you go to these protests? Dude, if I was there, which I totally would be if I lived, like, even in America and wasn't in China right now, I would go there and I'd body all those cops. Trust me. Trust me. Oh, look at their little wee-woo wagon.
Alright, so they're coming to clear Chavez and Alameda.
Chavez and Alameda? Okay, so they're still pretty close. There's a lot of cops. Are there even any protesters left?
Which way?
They're all dead? Yep. I don't even know what they're responding to at this point.
The whole time?
No, I just ran into him.
I think he's scared the shit out of me. He's like holding a flashlight. I was like, oh, hey.
I just don't want to get hit for a firework from the crowd.
Can somebody find me a helicopter, some helicopter coverage?
We're good here, huh?
They scared the shit out of me though. I just like, oh.
They just came out of nowhere? Or you were just chilling right here? You're like, what the fuck?
Chilling.
The Los Angeles Police Department is a machine that turns taxpayer dollars into overtime pay. Jesus Christ. Notice I'm still not seeing much in the way of National Guard. Guess they're just chilling back at home base. Okay. I guess I'll let you guys know when I see something that looks like a group of protesters. Let me wind back a little bit. Okay, here's some people. They are moving quickly.
CNN reporting that the state's Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis says that tomorrow a lawsuit will be filed to go against Trump's order to nationalize the California National Guard.
I saw that. Gavin Newsom's filing a lawsuit
on several fronts, and we will see how this plays out continuing on the streets of LA, but continuing tomorrow in a courtroom, at least on one legal front, and we'll see what happens, Mark, with the military, whether the Insurrection Act will be invoked. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we'll hear from...
Wait. Are people talking about the Insurrection Act being invoked? Wait, who mentioned that? Did he just bring that up? Who mentioned that? Where'd he get that from? Hello?
Another legal courtroom, at least on one legal front, and we'll see what happens, Mark, with the military, whether the Insurrection Act will be invoked.
Were we discussing that? Was that on the table? I mean, I knew it was on the table, but who brought that up? Uh-huh. Does that mean essentially full military take over the government? No. The Insurrection Act authorizes the military to arrest people. It gives them, like, civil policing powers. It's not the same as martial law? No, it's not the same as martial law. If anything, this is closer to martial law.
FD for. You hear that?
Maybe the dumpster fire?
Why did I said roll FD right away?
I thought I heard shots fired when they were running, but I didn't want to like report something that didn't happen.
Why do they have horses? Because they're horse cops.
They took on, like, when they were first rolling over, they took on fireworks, and they were shooting at some dudes, like, up against that.
Here we go. Insurrection Act not off the table for LA protests, Trump says. Man, they are really playing this hand, aren't they? Jesus Christ. WAPO article on the same topic. Nerd. Is this about... There we go, Insurrection Act. I don't know if they talk about this here. His willingness to invoke the Insurrection Act. So what do we have from Trump's feed? Arrest the people in face masks now. Looking really bad in LA. Bring in the troops. Use him at UFC. Paid insurrectionists. Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass should apologize to the people of LA for the horrible job they've done, and this now includes the ongoing LA riots. These are not protesters, they are troublemakers and insurrectionists. Remember, no masks. Yeah. A small protest at Camp Pendleton? Really? Ah, veteran-led. That's nice. What? Oh.
Demonstrators out here in front of Camp Pendleton say they support the military. What they're against is deploying active duty troops against civilians in Los Angeles.
It is unlawful to deploy American troops on American citizens.
Armed with signs and a passion to protect, these demonstrators, including military veterans, mad about Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's post on X, say Marines at Camp Pendleton were placed on high alert.
For him to put out that order, to be ready, we may need you to go on the streets. That makes me heartsick as a veteran.
This after a weekend of protest erupted across L.A. after immigration enforcement raids led to arrests. Authorities fired non-lethal weapons when they say the crowds got violent. On Sunday, National Guard members...
They always call the weapons the police use non-lethal. They never ever say that the stuff the crowd does is non-lethal. Crowd throws a rock, that's a violent protester, you know? Violent protest. Cop fires, you know, rubber rounds, which can kill people. Oh, those are, don't worry, those are non-lethal weapons, you know? All right, well, I'd say a rubber round and a rock are both like the same category of non-lethal in that they can kill you, you know?
Including the 79th Infantry Brigade Combat Team based in San Diego, were on the streets of Los Angeles after the president ordered 2,000 Guard members to the area. And with the threat of deploying active duty military, Patrick Saunders wanted to get the attention of Marines at Camp Pendleton.
That if they're coming across a situation where they're given an order, and if their conscience tells them that it is unlawful, yes, I'm asking them to disobey that order.
Typically, the U.S. military is not allowed to carry out civilian law enforcement roles against U.S. citizens, except in times of emergency.
I fully support the military that supports the Constitution. The Constitution is what's important, not the idiot who's at the head of this administration.
Demonstrators out today expressed deep admiration and respect for those in uniform, but condemned the use of violence by ICE agents during raids. And
pretty much what you can expect from a veteran-led protest, I suppose.
Worry about the choices being made could lead to more unrest.
I know that when young men, young women are given orders, they follow orders. And unfortunately, sometimes those orders are unlawful and not the right orders.
More than 42,000 active duty Marines and sailors are stationed at Camp Pendleton. We did reach out to them and they said they cannot comment on force protection details. Elizabeth Sanchez, CBS 8.
Well, I'm glad there's a protest going on over there. V formation. Very good, very good. We're not going to let them get away with it. We're going to have troops everywhere. Speaking to reporters on Sunday, he did not rule out the insurrection. Yep. Okay, this is from the earlier conversation he had with reporters outside of Air Force One. Okay, I remember this. I saw this. I don't know if there's been any other invocation of it. Oh, yeah. The last time the Insurrection Act was used was in Los Angeles with the LA riots. That's fair. It did get pretty spicy down there. It did. That is true. Oh boy. Against who? What are you marching towards? You've got your firearms raised. It's just cars over there. Oh, just moving in sync, I guess. Oh, yep. Yeah, okay. Yeah. As a non-American, how over is it if the Insurrection Act gets passed? Okay. If the Insurrection Act gets passed, it is, relatively speaking, in the grand scheme of things, not actually a massive deal. I know that sounds crazy. However, keep in mind that what the Insurrection Act does is allows the military to engage in civil policing. The problem with that is that if you're breaking up protests, the bottleneck is not, can you arrest people fast enough? Invoking the Insurrection Act increases the speed at which you can arrest people because the military is now doing it. But that doesn't fix the real bottleneck, right? Which is moving people through the court system. It's not like they're going to break up protests and the military is going to arrest and then deport like 40,000 American citizens, you know? The Insurrection Act would be spooky, but logistically trying to manage who are they shooting at? I don't fucking know. What are you doing? Wait, no, seriously, what are they doing? There's nobody here.
Oh damn, they fucked up these cop cars.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay, well, let's just assume they're having fun with their overtime. The logistical bottleneck for, like, fascism via arrest, right? You know, like arresting mass numbers of people, is everything after the arrest. Arresting someone is pretty quick. You know what isn't? Filing paperwork, finding the space to hold them, holding them, getting charges pressed by a prosecutor, running them through the court system, court-appointed lawyer, you know, a defense attorney. Like, it's all the other shit after the arrests that's the bottleneck. Now, obviously, in America where Trump invokes the Insurrection Act and the military starts patrolling the streets is not an America where people's rights are going to be respected very well. But there's no way around what I just described unless they start actually digging mass graves. Like, it's a fundamental bottleneck that cannot be overcome. If you are going to arrest that many people, you need to find something, you need to do something with them. Now, if we have, like, martial law, we suspend habeas corpus for everyone, nobody gets due process, then the only remaining bottleneck is, where are you going to house all these people? I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the federal detention center that's getting protested in downtown LA is already at triple capacity. It's meant to hold 500 people, it's holding 1,500. Like, the federal government already doesn't have room to hold the undocumented immigrants they're trying to get rid of. And that's a group of people they have been willing to illegally deport after suspending habeas corpus. So even for a group of people where they have just been arresting willy-nilly, throwing into holes in the ground, and then deporting illegally, right? Even for that group of people, they're still bottlenecked. Why are the cops breaking the car? They're trying to remove the broken windshield. Anyway, does everyone understand what I'm talking about? Why are they trying to remove the broken windshield? I don't know, but that's clearly what they're doing. Maybe they're having fun. Have you thought about that? Wouldn't you want to hit a broken, like, plated windshield? Like, go whap, 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 like that? Oh, yeah, see, they're trying to clear some line of sight so they can drive it. How many cops does it take to break a windshield? You know it's armored, right? It's a cop's windshield. It's not like your windshield. Looks pretty weak to me. Well, can't argue with that. All windshields are laminated like that? I am pretty sure cop cars have more reinforced windshields and side windows.
Caught him slipping. Caught him slipping. We're on Cesar Chavez and New High Street, or North Spring Street.
EMT here, that looks like a standard windshield. Okay, well, I'm willing to accept when I'm wrong. For how long would you like to be banned? I'm kidding.
Man.
I don't think I've seen this much use of non-lethal in a very long time. We've also seen
old footage. Firefighters. What are we doing? They're talking to Karen Bass right now in KCAL.
Buildings, throwing bottles, throwing cans, and that's just unacceptable. And they need to understand that when the LAPD declares an unlawful assembly, they need to leave, not scatter around the city creating violence or graffitiing up buildings. This does not help anything. You know, I think about those families that are terrified right now because they don't know where their loved one is. They don't know if their loved one has been taken to another country, another city, and this is not helping anything. This does not promote.
Genuinely, how do you get a position as significant as mayor of Los Angeles and still say shit like this? Like, you have no better response than this. Nothing. Like, this is your limit?
The police chief, LAPD, the sheriff, as well as other law enforcement partners about
Cali Dems. Dude, the fucked up thing is that Gavin Newsom is being way more on the spot.
Over with. Has been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
The perception is there's a lot of
like shit, you know. Again, I fucking hate this guy. Okay, so I'm not crediting him on like a general moral ground, but a Dem just flat out saying, "Okay, fucking arrest me then, pussy. Do it, stupid piece of shit. Fuck you, bitch ass pussy, motherfucker. Do it. Arrest me. I'm holding my wrists out. Arrest me. Arrest me." Like, okay, that's good. Okay. All right. Take what you can get, man.
Violence, you are going to be held accountable, and you should not think that just because you don't get arrested tonight that you won't be arrested. There's videotape of just about everything that happens.
Yeah. It's because he knows they won't. I'm not gonna lie. They could. Not like legally. I mean, like, not like they have a legal reason to. I mean, they could as in like they're playing a hand right now. You know that, right? Insurrection Act, military deployed to Los Angeles. Like, this isn't like, you know, oh, it's just another one of the wacky things we deal with now. You know, this is a hand getting played.
Different layers of law enforcement and everything else that's going on.
I actually don't think there has been a difficulty. I mean, in terms of the federalized National Guard, they are stationed at the federal building. The CHP takes care of the highway. So when the protesters went on the highway, it was CHP. Even in front of the federal building, you have the Federal Protective Services, so federal officers. And then, you know, of course, you have LAPD. So I think actually the communication and collaboration has been good. I was at the command center most of the day today, and, you know, people are literally working in the same room together. The CHP is there. The federal...
What would it look like if they arrested a sitting governor? I don't think anyone knows. I don't really think there's a precedent for that. The biggest black pill, the most terrifying possibility, is that he gets arrested and basically nothing happens. The lieutenant governor just continues to run California. Everyone's like, okay, well, I guess, like, we'll see it play out in court, and then, like, nothing happens. There's no massive shutdown, you know, there's not, like, an enormous pushback or anything. It's just like, okay, well, you know, surely they won't, like, give him the death penalty, right? You know? That would be pretty bad.
Not massive civil unrest. And obviously, I don't ever want to see that happen in our city again, which is why we have
did
to
arrest
be
the
very
judge. That's true.
aggressive now and send a very clear message that vandalism will not be tolerated.
And a quick follow-up to that communication point, I want to extend it to the federal government as well, because I know you mentioned you've been staying in communication with a lot of folks, including the president, or at least attempting to talk to the president and other federal officials. How do you maintain that message to de-escalate the situation? Because that's not just coming from you, that's coming from other folks we talked to tonight, including LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn, in that there's a repeated attempt to try and talk to Secretary Noem, to the U.S. Attorney, to President Trump, in saying we all need to take a step back here in order to calm things down.
You know, you should know I have not reached out specifically to the president. I am attempting to reach out to Secretary Noem. You know, we knew each other. We served in Congress together for 10 years. And there's other officials that are in the administration that I have been in contact with, including Tom Homan, as well as the new U.S. Attorney, Bill
Saley?
Yeah. Bill Saley, yes.
Yes.
Mayor Bass, Leslie here. We're hearing tonight the California Lieutenant Governor has announced that the state government will file a lawsuit against the federal government for deploying the National Guard. Have you been in contact with the Lieutenant Governor at all?
No, I have not spoken to the Lieutenant Governor today. I met with the governor for quite a while, but I've not spoken to the Lieutenant Governor.
We're just getting a post from LAPD right now, Mayor Bass. Business owners are now reporting stores being looted in the area of 6th Street and Broadway.
My God.
And that's just another layer. As we've mentioned, only a small group of people still on the streets of downtown Los Angeles. This is not the larger protesting group we've seen throughout the day. But what is the solution to de-escalation? Are there any talks about bringing in possibly more law enforcement, maybe some other city agencies, mutual aid? I know that the police chief, LAPD police chief, said that they were, quote, overwhelmed.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. My fucking local media, my mayor, not mine. Jesus Christ. I like how the mayor just took that for granted. Like, oh, we heard the business reports of looting at a corner. What businesses? You want to corroborate that before commenting on it? Just anything? It's the whole fucking county of Los Angeles. The county of Los Angeles is enormous. Oh, yeah, massive civil unrest. Oh, and someone's store got broken into. Okay.
Well, I will say, but I don't think he meant that they were overwhelmed to the point of needing mutual aid. I know that, you know, our chief has great relations with other departments all through the region, and if mutual aid is needed, I know that he wouldn't.
Why are we using mutual aid to refer to cops reinforcing other cops?
He did not indicate that they were overwhelmed and they couldn't manage the situation at all.
Mayor Karen Bass live with us tonight. Mayor, thank you so much for your time this evening. We certainly appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
We want to get to Mike Rogers. Mike, we had spoken about possible looting.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at on the right side of your screen. This is in the area, I believe we said 6th and Broadway. Let me just double check that. But yeah, 6th and Broadway. You see LAPD down there. Business owners had reported that their stores were being looted. Now, it's hard because there's an overhang. We're also dealing with a lot of helicopter traffic, marine layers, what have you. So I don't know if John can tell us if he sees any broken windows, anything like that.
I'm sorry, wait. The area that's being looted is this one that's currently being occupied by like 20 cops? This is the area where the looting happened? The one that's currently under occupation? It looks like they handled it. I'm guessing the looting stopped. I feel like it's fine now. Fucking Karen Bass's response. My God. Who could have guessed that after instability caused by a martial crackdown that the president ordered for no fucking reason, some people would loot? In LA, of all places?
On any of these storefronts, I do see you know, those officers standing there, sees a guy on a phone who looks to be, you know, upset about something. I just can't tell, John, I don't know if you can, if there's any damage to any of the storefronts there.
Oh my God, dude.
So we'll look for that. But yeah, we don't know the extent of it, but we do know that the officers were responding. Oh yeah, look, actually, I'm so sorry. They're standing right in front of a broken window.
Look at that. Look at that. A window's broken and there's a guy. We can't tell what he's saying, but we can only assume he's saying that his entire family was murdered by Mexicans.
It looks like that shattered on the floor or something like that. I can't tell if that was the door. As John kind of moves around a little bit, we'll try to get a better idea on that. But you know, this is obviously another escalation.
Yeah, martial law in a police state are one thing, but I draw the line. Yeah, minor property damage, exactly.
You know, we had graffiti, we've had clashes with officers, and now if businesses are being looted, that is just another, you know, terrible escalation in what has gone on in downtown Los Angeles tonight.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Minor vandalism, property damage, and looting are not an escalation over thousands of police officers and military personnel cracking down on protests. You think the news media is going to talk about those cops who tried to kill that man by trampling on him?
And again, to the mayor,
just keep in mind that, like, these local news stations are owned by people, okay? None of this is accidental. They know what their lines are. They know what they're allowed to say. You will never see one of these fucks look down at a protest and say, holy shit, the cops are losing their mind. They can say everything but that.
Point to, you know, everyone's point that has brought it up, it totally dilutes whatever message was trying to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you for your professional opinion. Oh, yeah. You know, the protests earlier, the protesting against the illegal arrests and deportations, the military state. Oh, yeah. It's just fucking ruined now, dude. Look at this window that fell down. It's fucking over, bro. Your message, worthless. Nobody will know what you were talking about. The history books will record only the window.
To be spread, and it looks like it's a shoe store, I believe. I see the Jordan logo there on top. So that is common. I mean, these are
oof. They're gonna love that one. I know what they're gonna say.
Those shoe stores are the ones that, you know, kind of get hit frequently. They've got some very high priced items in there that go in, and yeah, it does look like that door is actually super just flat out on the front. So I don't know if they got in there and then kicked it forward or what exactly happened. And as John comes around further, I can't tell if that's what's on the floor right there, but that definitely looks like some damage was done here.
Yeah, terrifying.
Now as these officers have to investigate this, and yeah, you can see shoes kind of all about.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Dude, look at this leering, almost like pornographic depiction of looting. From a helicopter, peering in, you see like a pair of shoes in the ground. Oh, that's brutal. That's fucking, that's nasty, dude.
That is laying down there on the floor, but definitely something that went on. And when you look, you know, I just happened to notice, you look at the police cars that are out front, and I can tell by the numbers on top of them just how far away from different parts of the city these officers are coming from. That one right there, that black and white, is from Pacific Station. I saw a Van Nuys Station officer there. I mean, so this is truly like from all over the city are now in downtown LA having to deal with this mess.
Yeah,
I can't get over the fucking audacity of the reporter who, like, normally these people are so dickless. They'll just say things that are happening. They'll never have an opinion. But this guy had the fucking audacity to be like, this just ruins the message. Just like the police state, fascism in America, it's nothing. It's a broken window. Like, oh, trust me, they're allowed to express their opinions, but only in one direction.
Know that they've called a tactical alert but earlier in the day, much earlier in the day, just trying to get as many LAPD resources down here. But I just asked the mayor, you know, is there any chance of now calling in mutual aid, which means that the
ABC 7 feet is action going on.
The
Damn, if only you linked
could call upon other local city agencies. And she says that the chief, if he needed to do that for LAPD, he would. He has not. And she does not feel, in their conversation earlier today, that the...
But tonight there are still people setting off fireworks and committing acts.
Yeah, wow, this looks really action-packed. Now let's do a quick IQ test. I shouldn't be mean to you. However, oh, okay, never mind.
Robert Luna, as we're watching these scenes unfold, can you give us an update on the situation from the point of view of your department?
Yes, sir. And hello, Mark. It's good to be on with you. So I just want to let all the viewers
for a second. All right. Be careful out there, Tim. Thank you very much. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell meeting with Governor Gavin Newsom earlier today. Amy Powell has more on what's been happening. And
please send them all home. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. Tim Caputo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Tim Caputo in downtown LA, still a very active scene, as we can see behind you. As we look live now, right now, LAPD officers outside that store that apparently was being looted, a shoe, a sneaker store in downtown.
Two helicopters, two local news stations. Very interesting stuff. Again, how many times have they replayed the footage of the murder attempt on that guy?
LA on South Broadway and 6th.
Oh, tell me about the shoe store.
This is all because of protests over ICE and their raids targeting people who are here without authorization in the United States. The president had promised during his campaign, in fact, it was a center point of the Republican National Convention, that there would be mass deportations. And he is carrying that out to the dismay of people who are affected by them. People are very...
Whoa, slow your roll with the fucking opinionated utterances, my friend. Really? The people who are being deported don't like being deported? Come on, we come here for impartial news.
Angry about what they're seeing. The promise has been from the administration that they were going to be going after violent criminals, people who prey on others who are here illegally. Let's go back to Tim Caputo.
I'm sorry. I thought for a second he was going to follow that up with, but that hasn't been the case. They've been arresting people, like, attending their court-ordered immigration hearings. But no, that would be, like, too close to, like, actual information.
He is live down there. Tim, what's happening?
Yeah, Mark, you know, we were talking about these skirmish lines and LAPD kind of systematically going through. We saw these officers actually lined up on the other side of Union Station. Initially,
they're going to rescue the shoe store. Dude, this news coverage is actually laughable. Yeah, this is all local news, by the way.
We thought they might have moved the crowd underneath the tunnel here away from Cesar Chavez. That's actually what they did back when the initial protest back on February 2nd made its way onto the 101. It seems as though the crowd was kind of pushed back towards downtown LA, and obviously now these police officers are responding in kind as they're working their way up the street north of where we are at the moment. We're going to send it back to you because obviously as these police are passing, we got some visitors over here by our camera, Mark, so I'm going to send it back inside for a second.
All right. Be careful. At the end of it, if things are still out of control, that's when you call the National Guard from a law enforcement perspective?
I wouldn't say, Mark, that we wait till it's out of control. We're continuously assessing what's going on. And please remember that for us at the LA County Sheriff's Department, we have an entire county to police. We're still getting...
You didn't call the National Guard. They were deployed by the president. And they were deployed by the president before anything had happened at all. This sheriff's department dipshit, just immediately the framing, like, the framing here is that the calling of the National Guard is like was like a serious on the table option here. You know what I mean? Like it's a reasonable, worthwhile thing to consider, and not just the president decided to for no reason.
911 calls. We're providing service to other areas. Also concerned about any other activity that...
Looting on this feed? Sure, why not?
Be an individual that is upset, is unstable, and is now driving at a high rate of speed around the Chinatown area and Olvera.
This is from ABC 7 LA. Where's ABC 7? This is ABC 7.
May pop up, I think.
Unrest to unrest, and...
Reversing now.
They're just following older footage from ABC 7. Any TV stations ending in 18 is sus. Yeah, did you see the thumbnail for this one? Los Angeles burns. See? This is it's Oh, they're posting a lot of boring shit. ABC footage here.
Yeah, these are not the protesters we saw during the day.
Wait, we were just looking at this.
Were,
they zoom in.
Utilizing their First Amendment rights Yeah, it did get out of control with the overpass on Spring Street, with the CHP vehicles, with the Waymo vehicles, like you said.
What are we doing?
Over in Olvera Street area. But what we're seeing now are, these are anarchists. These are not law-abiding citizens. These are people that want to cause problems, and they've come into L.A. to do so.
Wow, and as you're saying that, we're watching somebody...
I think they live here. Oh, this is a video clip. This is not live.
Who was doing backwards donuts in that intersection. A man driving through without a shirt on with this minivan. Not sure what his intentions were or what's going on there, but this guy's taken off at a high rate of speed. And you know, there's people out in the streets right now. We don't know if he was angry at the protesters or part of the protest. We just don't know. But there's so many people out walking around the streets, law enforcement officers, other people that are out there, and,
between the bollards.
And he's putting all of them at risk now with whatever he's doing here. This is just more craziness. He was doing those backwards donuts in that intersection.
Yeah.
Seemingly, it looked to me like he was trying to target somebody. They were throwing things at his vehicle, and it looked as though he was trying to circle around and try to get somebody. I don't know, but what we're seeing now is he is slowed down. I'm not sure exactly where this is. If we could get our locator up from Air 7 just to see what exactly this guy's... It's Olvera Street. It kind of looked like Olvera Street. Well, he's driving around Olvera Street. He's got no shirt on. He's driving that minivan. It just stopped. I don't know if it ran into a bollard there or what, but it just stopped. And now he's backing up.
Mark, I don't know if you could hear me.
Go ahead.
LAPD is aware of this individual, but I'm not sure if they really know what to do. He's I was going to say he appeared to be trapped in that area with the.
That was so close to hitting the right side bollard.
Of this individual, but I'm not sure if they really know what to do. He's
that. He would have spun out.
Oh, well, I was going to say he appeared to be trapped in that area with those blockades, and now he's flying.
Why are we
down
focusing on this guy? Because he's rad.
Main Street back to where that blockade is at an extremely high rate of speed, slamming on the brakes now. This is Cesar Chavez and Main Street, and there's so many people just out walking around right now. I don't know if he's going to slow down before he gets to this barricade. You see some people running.
God. Take
We're
them
a
with
little
you.
bit we're a little bit blocked right now because we can't see what's going on the other side of that building. So I'm not sure if this guy in the vehicle stopped or if he continued on. Zoom back in, left, Rob. I think that's him right there. Yeah.
That's 100% a stolen car. He's treating it like a stolen car.
We just kind of saw this out of the corner of our eye, and I'm not sure if this guy is agitated by the protesters, maybe to the west. There he is now. There he is now, continuing to drive extremely erratically. I'm really worried that this person is going to drive so fast that he's going to run somebody over because there's just so many pedestrians running around, so many people with their phones out. This guy's already hit multiple things. You see the bumper damage almost hitting that vehicle head on, and people are continuing to throw rocks at him. This is Alameda and Cesar Chavez. I think that guy was trying to go up to the driver's door. More people throwing things at this vehicle.
Okay, this guy's definitely drunk and anti-protester because all the protesters are throwing shit at him. Like, he's obviously, well, I don't think his motives are rational. Yeah, he's a main character. I don't think you can drive drunk this well. Maybe you can.
And cause problems. They wait for these sorts of situations to happen, and they go there with the intent of causing mayhem. What's your...
Can relate to a lot of the people that are peacefully protesting. I don't relate to the people out
here. We
here.
have to have this discourse every single fucking time there's a protest, okay? If there is a big protest, that means there's civil unrest. If there's civil unrest, people are going to loot and smash shit. Every time. 100% of the time. No exceptions, okay? Any real protest, not like a little gathering that's been scheduled, but like a spontaneous outburst of public energy and unrest, will invariably come with a degree of instability that leads to looting and so on, okay? If you are focusing on that, then you are anti the concept of protest and in favor of whatever they are protesting against. That is the rule. I'm sorry, those are the rules. No one fucking cares. You go on local news and you're like, we denounce the looting and the rioting. No shit! Nobody thinks you support the fucking looting. Nobody thinks that. It's like they say it like it's a brave statement every time, you know? Oh, well, let me be the first to declare that I don't like the trash can that's on fire. Wow! Brilliant! That's incredible. You're only the infinitieth guy to say that. Every time.
They're committing crimes and destroying property and are attacking our employees.
Of course. What we're seeing here is different law enforcement agencies with different missions. You've got ICE and Customs Enforcement that is going around and they're getting people who are in the country without authorization and taking them into custody. And you have your department.
That's not even fucking true, dude. They're going after people who lawfully obtained migrant status or are awaiting like their migrant application. Like, that's not even true. A lot of the people, ICE is literally going into courthouses and rounding up and arresting people who are there attending their court-mandated immigration hearings.
We have to continue to figure out a way to communicate, coordinate when we can. I know there's some legal restrictions, but I'm focused on I'm hoping that none of their federal agents get hurt in this. I'm hoping that none of my deputy sheriffs or any police officers get hurt doing this. And I definitely don't want community members, legitimate community members that are protesting or demonstrating peacefully to get hurt in this. Right. So that communication, having that as a common way of going through this, I don't like the rhetoric on the extremes of either side of this.
Oh, how
I think
brave.
we really need to take a deep breath and figure out how we resolve this.
I don't know, man. This country, I don't know. I don't know how long we deserve to last, to be honest with you. This is like a mainstream sentiment. I can't. I cannot imagine at this point in time having this perspective. I have never respected centrism, but if you were a centrist back in like 2012 or something, during the Obama administration, when people thought like, you know, liberalism works still a little bit, like people had that impression, like that's something, okay? But this, why black screen? Not like in a race way.
Be online, tell people, get there, pull them back. As community members, we have to do our own community policing on that. If we see that, we got to say something. It's disappointing and it's heartbreaking to see our city have to go through this. And our mayor is doing everything she can. Our governor is doing everything she can. Law enforcement is out there, as we can see. I can hear them out of my window right now. There is destruction and people are driving there. Stay home. You have no need to be here in downtown. You are not protesting. You're just creating violence.
Yeah, as we're speaking with you, it looks like we're watching possible smoke bombs, smoke canisters being shot off, but I'm not even sure by who, if it's law enforcement or...
I cannot believe the only two public officials that I've seen so far speak on this with any kind of backbone have been Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris. How embarrassing is that? Like, that was just a Democratic city councilman, wasn't he? You can say whatever the fuck you want, dude. You're a local official, okay?
For a brief moment, interact with the crowd, I should say face off with the crowd. But since then, we have not seen them leave the federal building. And in fact, many of these people now facing off with our local law enforcement. So what action really needs to be taken to de-escalate this situation?
The goal for sending the 2,000 national troops, which, by the way, was not even coordinated with our own governor, so there's multiple violations that are there as we speak. But the reality is,
it's not necessarily a violation.
The National Guard to protect us from what is happening right now. It's our own sheriff's department. It's our own LAPD. 17,000 of those combined forces out there that are responding to We all saw that gentleman in that minivan that was going, doing donuts by Union
we
Station.
did see that. We did see that.
Dropping off the car and finally got arrested. I mean, so many different. It's a game of whack-a-mole. That's what I'm seeing. There's so many different areas where these places are going, and it's putting a strain on our own local resources. But again, it's our own local resources that are protecting us, not the National Guard, and that's what Trump ordered them to do. And they're not doing that. There's a very limited amount of them here anyway. And so, as I'm looking at the screen with what you guys are showing, it's all of our own local sheriffs and LAPD who are responding to this to try to de-escalate the situation, not the federal administration. And they are trying to hurt us.
No one shared the good news. After careful consideration, the city of Glendale has decided to end its agreement with ICE to house federal immigration detainees. Hey, that's actually pretty great. I have no idea how many are currently housed at the Federal Detention Center in Glendale, but it's a strong message, and that's very good. That's very good. Well, they might not have a federal detention center there. If they were doing this agreement, that might mean that they're requisite. Yeah, for sure. That means they're requisitioning state or city resources to use for detaining immigrants. So, nice. This means nothing. I disagree. I don't think it means nothing. I think that's lovely, personally. Type shit.
It's violence.
I was hoping to prevent this.
Old clips.
And showcase the fact that we can't necessarily cover our own backyard, and we are. But our own community members, the own folks out there, the anarchists who are creating this violence, who are out there.
I can't. Jesus. Yeah, okay, the city of Glendale had offered their facility to ICE, so it's not a federal holding facility.
There to create stress. They are not here for the cause, they are here for themselves.
Wow.
Assembly Member Mark Gonzalez, thank you so much for giving us another day of your time. We certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
I don't appreciate it. Fuck you.
All right, well, we're continuing to monitor the situation there in downtown LA as we approach the 11 o'clock hour this Sunday evening. You notice the large law enforcement presence there. It looks like the 101 southbound still closed. I mean, we mentioned that hours ago about how there was so much debris and so much damage. But
take a look. It looks like the possible sparks are coming from that bush. There are people that are, I don't know if that's, I'm hoping that's water. They're trying to douse it to put it out, but I really don't know what it is. Mike?
That is probably not water, judging from the way they're tossing
John and I
onto it.
We can't tell if somebody from the crowd started the fire or if it happened when sheriffs were launching, they're doing flashbangs and some other things over there. So it's hard to tell, and I hope that person is using water, but we saw
you can see they're holding a water bottle. Yeah, I can see they're holding a water bottle. I don't think that's how you would splash water onto a fire. You see how high up he was holding his hand?
They absolutely were not using water. So hopefully that's the situation here, and it is water, and well, there it goes. So that's not off to a good start, but we'll see how that goes. The good news is it's like the pretty green vegetation here, so hopefully it doesn't burn as thickly as some of the dry stuff. But that person, if he was trying to put on water on it, well, now he's walking away from it. So that lends you to kind of believe that maybe that wasn't the case. So we'll see. And there you've got that green laser again. And John and I have been talking about this, and I'm becoming more and more, I don't want to say convinced, but I'm more and more of the belief that is on the bottom of one of the sheriff's less than lethal weapons when we see that. So, because every time I see it, it does appear to be coming from the direction of the sheriff's department. So we'll see. Now they're, of course, going to have to deal with this fire. That is
I'm sure they'll get it under
So,
control.
let's see. John's going to follow it back. Yeah, it's coming from sheriffs. So that must be on the end of one of their less than lethals. Speaking of which, we are going to, in a couple minutes, Sheriff Luna is going to join us to kind of discuss, their role in this. They've been asked to do mutual aid and all of that.
Why are they calling it mutual aid?
The fire department's going to have to try to get in there and deal with that. So hopefully that happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and the difficulty with when one of these fires starts. Okay, that person is continuing to drop something on that fire, some sort of liquid, and someone just...
Maybe it is water. Okay, I have no idea why you'd be tossing water onto a fire like that. You would... Huh, okay.
us through, I want to say it's a firework in their direction, Mike, but we have seen some of the sparks start to fly when law enforcement uses projectiles here.
Yeah, and John's telling me that was a flashbang.
Oh, okay.
That they used here.
I don't know. Maybe this person was trying to help the situation. We can't really make out
it
what's
looked
happening.
like a bottle, but I mean, regardless, it's yeah, this fire's certainly grown now in that bush there. So that's going to be, yeah, it's tough because you're going to have to squeeze into a really tight area here.
Well, what we've seen with all the fires, right? It takes firefighters a while to get here because of their safety.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm not seeing a crowd surrounding here, which hopefully would make it easier for them to get here. But if they have to navigate through some of the blockades, some of the streets that are blocked off, each time we see a fire, firefighters aren't able to respond as quickly because you know, they have to navigate this situation.
Flashbangs have been known to start fires.
Going pretty quickly here.
I mean, yeah, they're literally explosives. Yeah, you can kill people with them. Oh, that's going up. I mean, it is June in Los Angeles, so, you know, pretty dry, I imagine. Well, hopefully that doesn't catch onto the trees, because if it does, that could be a bit of a fuss.
It's been a minute since we've been able to see a large crowd elsewhere. Obviously, we're keeping our eyes on a lot of different things right now. You just see this large law enforcement presence right here in the center of your screen, but no other demonstrators or protesters or anybody else that we're keeping an eye on at this very moment. So let's see if we pin around and notice anything. But no, primarily it's law enforcement that's taking up your screen.
We're gonna continue to monitor this, but I think we want to go toward Lori Perez and what she's seeing there on the ground. Lori.
No, actually, I wasn't following the protests in San Francisco at all. I have no idea what's going on over there. I didn't see nothing. What matters is that they're having fun.
Yeah, you might be able to see a stream of LAPD cars going by us. It has been a night for these officers. In fact, we just saw one of the cars going by, rattling on a flat tire as it drove by us. I mean, they have just been under assault for hours now with rocks and bottles and anything and everything being hauled at them. Across the street, you can see a line of police officers. They are blocking off the street. This is Main Street in Aliso. They are blocking the way towards City Hall in the background. They do not want to let any crowds that should converge in this area. They do not want to let them back towards City Hall at all. And there are lines like this on the overpasses and on the streets towards the downtown.
And other agencies from outside the county. So what you're going to be seeing in the next, shouldn't be too long from now, you're going to see a lot of law enforcement officers, deputy sheriffs coming in to assist our brothers and sisters at LAPD. We have additional CHP officers coming in as well. So I'm going to send this very strong message. Earlier today, there were some really good people out there protesting and demonstrating, and then you had people who were acting unlawfully, which meant they were attacking police officers, deputy sheriffs, and causing a lot of destruction.
Wow.
If you are out here and that's what you're doing, there's a high likelihood you are going to jail, because part of the resources that I'm sending into downtown are our sheriff's booking teams. And they are able to book many people at one time as the police officers and deputy sheriffs take them into custody. So a word of the wise, go home unless you want to end up at one of our county facilities tonight.
And Sheriff Luna, this is Gio here. Is the expectation there in that case that this is for...
Did he say pussy teams? Yes.
Or a specific set of time, or just indefinitely until this situation resolves itself?
We are here
Nothing
until
on that front,
we bring calm back to downtown Los Angeles. We want to see people get out of the streets. We want to see, I mean, you see cars driving recklessly, fires being started. We don't want any of that, and we don't want any of our businesses downtown impacted. You need to get out. This is a warning to everybody, or you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah, Sheriff, it's Mike Rogers here. I wanted to ask you.
Okay, we're going to work on getting Mike Rogers back up for us here. Sheriff, you know, yesterday we heard possibly your deputies may have been hurt from a Molotov cocktail. Can you give us a description? How are your deputies doing out there? And do you have a number of arrests they have made?
I do not have a number of arrests yet. We will have that for you maybe by tomorrow morning. Leslie, I really appreciate you asking about the well-being of our deputies.
I don't. Do you think the protests will get bigger tomorrow or fizzle out? I feel like they're probably going to get larger. That's the vibe, I think. More National Guardsmen coming in. Things are compounding. It's a work day, though. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that because I'm a live streamer. Hassan said he'd go out tomorrow. My point made. Yeah. We'll see.
People forget that when police officers and deputy sheriffs go to work, they have families at home who are very concerned about them. They're praying that they come home safe, that they come home non-injured. And unfortunately, yesterday, during the unrest in Paramount and Compton, we had deputies who were out there trying to keep the peace, trying to do their job, and they were violently attacked. People were throwing things at them, which included high-powered pyrotechnics. So I had a deputy who was hospitalized after they experienced significant burns from those pyrotechnics.
Wow.
And yes, we had another individual throw a Molotov cocktail. And I just got to say that it's sickening. That has nothing to do with legitimate protesting or demonstrations. Those are criminal acts that have no business being done anywhere. That everybody should come out and say that is 100% unacceptable.
Hey, Sheriff, it's Mike here. I want to bring up a point when you talk about the injured deputies. There's video circulating, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I believe it was either in Paramount or Compton yesterday where two of your deputies, you know, either were tear gassed by federal law enforcement or some other chemical irritant got in their eye, and they went into a business. It looked like a restaurant, and a Latina business owner was helping them put milk on their eyes to kind of wash that out. You know, this whole situation started with federal law enforcement coming into Los Angeles County and conducting those raids, which, you know, whatever your opinion on it is, it happened, and it has caused what we're seeing now. Are you worried that when the federal law enforcement come in and do these types of things that it erodes some of the trust that your department has worked hard to build with the community?
Not actually a terrible question.
That's an excellent question, Mike, and yes, absolutely. The LA County Sheriff's Department, and I could speak for almost every law enforcement agency here in Southern California, we've been working so hard to build bridges, build relationships. That's how you reduce crime. That's how you positively impact quality of life. And a lot of what we've seen in the last week is very concerning to me. And again, our federal partners, if they are out and they are trying to take into custody individuals that have committed violent or serious crime, there's a due process. Hey, get them off our streets. But as they're going out and, you know, we're taking cooks and gardeners and maids and hotel workers into custody, that's what's causing a lot of our challenges here. That is breaking public trust. And I'm really hoping, and I don't want to sound extreme.
This is about the most that we can hope for in the context of, you know, the sheriff's department. I am still happy that this is the line, I suppose. In spite of everything that's being said, maintaining the argument of, like, ICE is going after good people, and that's why these protests are happening, is a lot better than the sheriff just, like, flatly saying, like, okay, well, obviously ICE is doing their job. You know, a very low bar, but the fact that they are blaming ICE for the protests is meaningful. That is meaningful.
on any side, because I think we have to be moderate to solve some of these very tough challenges that we have in front of us. But hey, I was born here in LA. I've been here my entire life. We know the culture here. Being an immigrant or having immigrant families, that's part of our rich culture. That's why people come visit this area. And you know, what you hear, this rhetoric about all these immigrants committing crime, our statistics don't bear that out. Yeah.
Again, lowest bar possible, but let me be happy with the tiny, tiny, tiny amounts I can be happy with.
We have people who commit crime. We don't care if they're immigrants or not. We have amazing deputies who will respond, investigate, take people into custody. But the majority of the people committing crimes here are not immigrants.
Yeah, and Sheriff Luna, we have heard, you know, some situations where the communication between federal law enforcement and specifically the LAPD has just not been.
It is meaningful. I hope they keep that line up. Again, I know they're still going to keep brutalizing protesters, but there is a big difference between the LAPD and LASD brutalizing protesters because that's just what they do, which it is, and then brutalizing protesters because they're ideologically reaffirming the validity of ICE's behavior in Los Angeles. Again, I know, low bar. Look, I know it's a point of very heightened tension right now. I just don't want anyone coming after me being like, wait, why is Vosh like arguing the sheriff's department is based? Look at what they did. I just don't want that smoke right now. Please. Just, you know. I'm just saying. God.
The demonstrators who are people from the community who are upset about, you know, the immigration raids, families being broken up, deportations happening. Do you feel any sense of kinship with them, or you know, about this situation, or do you see that there is need for more law enforcement and for more immigration enforcement in Los Angeles?
You know, I think, you know, the federal agents are enforcing federal immigration law, which is their right, and anybody can have their personal opinion on you know, to what level that should be, who should they focus on, and those kind of things. I won't take a position on that because really that's not our focus, not our job. But when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people that we see during the day who are legitimately out there exercising their First Amendment rights and to be able to express their feelings about the immigration enforcement issue. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face masks on.
They were saying this in the earlier ABC feed as well. I don't know if they were replaying older audio from the police chief or if they were getting new audio. It is true. This happens in all protests. I mean, anytime there's real civil unrest, you have people during the day, and then at night you've got people who are like, you know, let's fuck shit up. Happened during BLM too, of course. It's pretty unavoidable. God, is it a sign of how fuck we are that the bar is this low? That I'm like, well, thank God the LAPD chief is acknowledging the fact that the protesters are not the people who are looting the businesses, you know? Yep. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, the bar's pretty low right now. Just, I mean, that's where we are.
On. There are people who do this all the time, get away with whatever they can, go out there, you know, from one civil...
It's true, and by the way, like, and I apologize for libbing it up in front of you all, but I did make this point during the BLM protests as well, where I said, you shouldn't focus on the riots or the looting or whatever, because that's not what this is about. It's going to happen no matter what, but that's not what this is about, you know? Don't hyperfixate, you know? Don't get all up in your head about the optics of it, because the people who are doing the looting after dark are not listening to you when you talk about optics. Like, what the fuck? What, you think they're like the ones on Twitter or whatever? No, they're, you know, young people, desperate people, people with a criminal or violent inclination to begin with, hoodlums, gang members, whatever. And, you know, listen, no hate, okay? We all like to get wacky now and then, but, like, these aren't the people who are going to listen to your screed on optics, you know? I did say back in BLM, and I'll say it today, it's important to conduct good discipline during a protest, and I think that includes trying to keep people from acting in a way that sort of incurs the wrath of the police. The classic example to me, let me see if I can find it, or maybe one of you can procure it for me. Wait, can I find it? I don't know if I'll be able to find it super quickly. It was during the BLM protests, and this one random protester reached into a, I think, broken cop car and pulled out an AR-15. And this is a protester, okay? The protester's holding this gun. Clearly, this guy does not know how to hold a rifle, right? And thank God for this. Private security of somebody else who was at the protest, so not a cop, but like a security guard, went up and basically like tackled the guy to take the gun from him. And that was good, because you really, really don't want the police to see in the crowd a guy ineptly holding a rifle. You really... Oh, I think you found it. I think you found it. I think you found it. Is it this?
It could spread to some other new...
This. Yeah. Here we go. This motherfucker, this kid reached in... Okay, it wasn't a cop car. He just got the gun from a car. It's America. We can do that, okay?
Nearby vehicles. Also a concern about that bill.
And this guy, who was private security for someone else, drew his gun and just yanked the rifle from him, which is pretty brave. I mean, to just run up and yank a gun from somebody. Was that his gun? No. That guy pulled it from a car. But this dipshit could have gotten a lot of people killed. You know? Could have gotten himself killed. By the way, if you're holding a gun at a protest and one of the police snipers sees you, they're probably gonna get you. You know? Which is preferable to the police just spraying into the crowd, by the way. It's important to conduct, you know, a degree of responsibility in protest, because otherwise you put a lot of people at risk. Remember that one time back during the BLM protests, there was this one agitator. He was a live streamer, right-wing live streamer, and he went to a BLM protest. He had his phone out, you know, he's recording, and he's like, "Tip this truck, tip this truck, tip this truck," trying to get all the people around him, you know. And then the guy in front of him turns around and he's like, "The fuck are you talking about? Get out of here, man." And the crowd like shoos him off, and he like has to run away because the crowd of BLM protesters is trying to like kick his ass, basically. Least obvious Fed. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Just don't act like the federal agent that they want you to be. You know? Make them have to expend the money on a Fed's payroll to be the agitator. Don't do their work for them, you know? Make them waste the time. I see, and I think this is to a much lesser extent. I am a big supporter of the whole "you should be waving American flags" thing. You're Americans protesting against American tyranny, and the argument that you're making is that the people here deserve to be in America and not be deported. I think you should carry an American flag. If you're going to. I would like to see these protests lit up with American flags. It seems a little bit ideologically incongruous to fly the Mexico flag, because then what you're kind of saying is like, well, okay, so they're Mexican? Well, that's what Tom Homan is saying. That's what ICE is saying. But I don't want to go too crazy with this, because I know there is a bunch of liberals who are they're gonna, like, you know, opt-explain this shit to lefties as though lefties control the protesters. The guys waving Mexican flags and doing donuts in a moped in downtown Los Angeles or Compton or whatever are not Twitter lefties, right? They're guys. They're like dudes, you know? So they're not hearing you, you know? I'm just saying, if you want to bring a big old American flag to the protest, I think it's a good look. I just don't want to have this argument every time, because then everyone, they come in, they're like, well, you're Hitler. And I'm like, okay, me being Hitler aside, answer the goddamn argument. Respond to the premise. You're engaging in ad hominem. The fact that I'm Hitler has nothing to do with the merits of this argument. And then it's nobody... I've got, you know, the debate credentials. No one goes after me after that, you know? Why wave a flag of genocidal imperialists? You'll understand when you're not 13 years old. But to wave a flag of genocidal imperialists. Jesus fucking Christ. Apply that standard consistently. When you see the Japanese flag or whatever, you're like, oh wow, that's literally the Hitler flag. Bro, that's literally the Hitler flag. They just took the stripes away. Yeah, well, anyway. It just bothers me a little bit that, like, there's good-hearted liberals who are making the argument, like, supporting immigration is an American virtue. You're un-American, ICE. ICE is un-American. Fascist fucks. And then some lefties are like, actually, being anti-immigrant is as American as it gets. You go, ICE and Tom Homan. You're acting very American right now. Who the fuck do you think you're helping? Shit, they should send you to fucking El Salvador, okay? Jesus Christ. At least the people they deported when they were here were being productive. You're being counterproductive, which I'm told is the opposite of being productive. Yeah. People do that with the Nazi shit, right? People say, yeah, nothing more American than beating up Nazis. And then some fucking dumbass 13-year-old lefty on Twitter will be like, actually, have you heard about Operation Paperclip? That basically, like, undoes all the anti-Nazi stuff America did or something. Did you know that some people in America like Nazis? I fucking hate you guys. I'm sorry. I'm venting a little bit. I'm venting and I'm being a little bit sus. Just, you know, we should define what our national identity is. I agree, yeah. I think that we should exercise some authority over how we as a national group are perceived, because that is, like, the authority to do that gives you, like, a lot of power in the future of the country, you know? If you want to take your hands off the wheel and say, whatever, America, you be fascist, that's you, then okay, then, wow, thank you for being helpful. That's great. Thank you for being first to the punch to point out that America is bad. You were so helpful. Thank you. Oh, you were right? America was bad? Wow. Now that is what I call praxis. Voss, define our national identity? You can do that any way you want. Everyone makes the argument. You know what I think? And I mean this sincerely, okay? I think that America is a cultural hegemon almost entirely because of our immigration policy and multiculturalism. I think that when we think of America, we think of a beautiful tapestry of contributions of people from ethnicities, religions, nationalities, races, whatever, who have come from all over the world. And I think that, like many countries, we have been very Hitlerite at times. That's not just America, dude, okay? You go France, England, Italy, Germany, Japan, Russia, China, you name a country, they've been Hitler at some point. I'm not saying that excuses it. I'm just saying that if you're talking about, like, our ethnic persecutions, is racism an American phenomenon? Of course not. This is like this is like a very broad problem, you know? But I think there is, and I mean this sincerely, something exceptional about America's multiculturalism. So when I say, you know, oh, well, that's American, you know, oh, that's American to me, or like, what should our national identity be? Well, I think you can make a very strong case for the fact that part of the American national identity is the integration of immigrants. You know, I think that's a unique defining trait. I think we are particularly good about that. Multicultural, so multiple flags. It's one country, motherfucker. A flag is a national symbol of status. Or it tells people if you're, like, gay or like it up the ass or whatever, okay? When I say, like, well, I think everyone in the world is American, I'm half joking. But what I mean sincerely, and I mean this, this isn't me doing a bit. In my mind, if you live here, you are American. And that's that. I have never in my life thought beyond that point. I have no other criteria. If you're living here for 1 year as an H-1B visa holder, you know, you're here for a job or something, as far as I'm concerned, you're American. You can stop when you leave if you want, but when you're here, you're American, you know? You're part of that, like, group. And, you know, pardon me for being misty-eyed about it or whatever, but I mean that. And I think it's a little bit dumb when lefties give up on that kind of idealism, you know, give up on the motive to write America's story because they're cynically ascribing the negative traits in favor of that, and they're basically giving the game to the right. Because what they're saying, what the right is saying is, well, no, America is a white country built by white people, and it ought to stay that way. And what a lot of lefties, I see them saying basically is, yeah, you're right, that is America. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? No, it's not. American culture, we wrap around the world, and it's not because we're a white ethno-state. It's because of the opposite of that. You're giving the game to them. You're making their argument. You don't have to give that line up and ignore the contributions or whatever to point out that America's bad. I just don't like, well, if you want to make a point about America doing something bad, then just make that point. I don't see the utility in giving up the whole narrative. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just rambling, but I do mean this, you know? And we can also be a little prescriptive with the national identity thing, right? Can't we say, like, well, we'd like it if America was defined by this? Maybe America's been defined by a lot of things. A lot of good and a lot of bad. Maybe we should, you know, sort of aspire to make it like about good things rather than just throwing our arms up and going, well, no, it's irredeemably bad. For some reason, I, a materialist, believe that a country can be irredeemably bad, like off its specific virtues, as opposed to, you know, just the nature of it being a nation state, you know? For some reason, I believe that in this specific case. So what you're saying is we should make America good again? I think we should make America great again, my friend. Okay, but lefties aren't the reason they wave the flag. It's because it has emotional significance to them. Pretty seems shit to go after for. I'm not going after a single person who's waving the Mexican flag. You see me getting mad at them? I'm just making my case. That's it. Somebody's out there waving the Mexican flag. God bless them. I don't give a shit. That doesn't make them any less American. I'm just saying, I think the protests would look good lighting up with the flag a little bit. That's all. Not in a burning the flag kind of way, but you can do that too if you want. I mean, you know. How's the situation going? I wouldn't know I was rambling. Also, look, I switched to my lightest camp collar shirt. I need to iron the back here so there's no gap and it lays flat against my neck. But isn't this like this is so comfy. Look at this. It's all rayon. I normally don't wear stuff made of like rayon, you know, because it's all like cotton and linen in this household. But it's very cozy. Looks like a safari shirt. No, it's a camp collar shirt. It's like the shit you wear at like resorts, you know? Rayon can be comfy. Yeah, it's bamboo, I think, right?
Cohesive, hasn't really been there, has been off. Have you had communication with federal officials, including Department of Homeland Security or ICE, as they...
And John's going to have to probably slide to the right a little bit, but right on the side of the LAPD building there, we just noticed multiple windows excuse me, multiple windows that are busted and broken there on the side of LAPD headquarters. So we're looking at that. We're also getting some word, and as soon as John gets a shot of this, then I'll have him go look over there. But yeah, there you start to see some of the windows, especially on the left there, right there. So that is probably what prompted, remember earlier when we saw the fire department coming in? Yeah. That's probably what prompted that. I would assume that the shattered windows set off some sort of alarm.
I'm just pointing out that every time I see the American flag, it means death or destruction at worst, or just a person who's going to be a massive racist. I'm really sorry, but that's just not true. You see the American flag all the time because we're the global cultural hegemon. You see it all the time. And it doesn't hurt you when you see it. Like, I guarantee you that's not the case. Unless, are you... Oh, hello. Hello, lady. What's up?
Yeah, we're here on the intersection of Spring Street and Aliso. Where we are, it seems that law enforcement, like us, are kind of on standby, waiting to see what reveals itself in the next couple of hours. Here you can see they are blocking the entrance. They are not letting anyone or any cars down towards City Hall, down towards the downtown area. If we take a look at the Spring Street overpass over the 101 behind me, you can see another layer of law enforcement has
responding to what?
Again, not letting anyone past that intersection towards
anyone. Who's anyone? What are they blocking?
Downtown. A lot of activity all around us in the sky, choppers overhead, and of course all sorts of law enforcement all around us, really keeping an eye on the situation. This area further down, that's where they pushed the agitators about a couple of hours ago down towards Chinatown past Olvera Street, and that's where a lot of that chaos unfolded. Some of the things that you showed at the top of the show where there was that out of control.
Are we back at the shoe store? Oh my God, it's been like an hour. Jesus Christ.
Minivan, and then really a lot of fireworks being set off, a lot of protesters throwing rocks.
I'm half being serious. We need to make it illegal for news to cover crime. I'm not even joking. The only crime stats that news should be able to cover, or it should just be crime stats. They should say the total number of crimes that happened today are this, and here's that, like, compared to like a graph of like daily averages extrapolated across multiple years. So as you can see, it's pretty much like the same, or maybe like a little bit less than normal. Anyway, that's it. I'm being so fucking serious.
And bottles and anything that they could at passing LAPD officers, or passing law enforcement officers, I should say.
Seriously, crime is down, and every American thinks crime is up because of the insane obsession with constantly narrativizing and 24/7 fucking news coverage of crime all the time. You saw the Australian reporter getting shot with a rubber bullet? Yeah, I saw it. I'll see it again, though.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good.
Jesus. That was 100% deliberate? Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Additionally, also launching those rocks and everything at that Chevron station, really causing a lot of damage there. You know, you've been hearing a lot about the damage that has happened along these pathways, you know, and I'll just echo that. It's on the sidewalks, it's on, you know, the buildings, it's on windows, really everywhere that they went through, they left their mark, literally. So that'll be a big cleanup once things get back to normal. Who knows when that will be? We certainly hope that overnight things do de-escalate, and really that law enforcement is able to get a handle on things over the next couple of hours. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, we want to go right to Mike.
They're going to be covering this shit for fucking hours, man.
Here, Mike, is this that Adidas store you were talking about that was possibly broken into?
Yeah, and as John's coming around with SkyCal, these buildings make it hard for us to get a good angle to see, but it does look like I see kind of a shattered window. Certainly LAPD is here. Actually, even a shattered window on the second floor right there, which is interesting. So I don't know. They tried to throw something at it from the inside. That's kind of weird. But as John comes around, we may be able to get a better look at it. But this was the report at the Adidas store here. This is at 8th and Broadway. John, what's on top of that police car right to the left there? Now there's that door, same way that the other store was.
Yeah. The
door was right on the flat, and so it looks maybe they recovered some of that merchandise that those officers are bringing back inside of the store. Interesting how that's happening. I wonder if they're using a tool or something like that to have those doors fall in the exact same way. There's a bottle of liquor right there too, that he just put on the ledge. So we're getting a
Jesus Christ. Video of LAPD just walking up to someone standing around, shooting them in the chest with a bullet. Wow, I just fucking attempted to speed run through that sentence and did not succeed. We did not hit the syllables necessary. That was trying to speed run a sentence is never an any percent. Okay, you got to 100% it. You have to understand, okay, this cop was mortally threatened. It was the only way. I wonder who's provoking violence.
The crew over there right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more answers from law enforcement. But you know what also happens here is, and especially if this is a multi-story business, is those officers have to go in and clear that whole business to make sure that there's nobody left inside. We saw them do that at the last one where that looked like a Jordan store. They went up onto the roof where there was a basketball court and had to clear through that. So they'll have to do that here as well and make sure there's nobody inside. It looks like they probably already have done it.
Was this shoe store Israeli or something? What's the big deal? Here comes a contingent of officers coming out of the store now.
Yeah, we also saw a couple people walking by with their phones and taking video, presumably of the damage or anything else they could get an eye on. We've seen a bunch of that constantly throughout the night and throughout the early afternoon, where you have people, in some cases, just taking video, taking photos of either the damage or the chaos or any assortment of things that was going on across the area.
And you wonder if they were able to make any arrests, because they did have a ton of merchandise in their hands, arms full. Oh, yeah, you can see a lot of those boxes that were sifted through, or, people whoever was in there trying to get that merchandise. But
who would loot Adidas? No one wants that shit. Adidas has some really good. I disagree, actually. I really like some of Adidas's military, like their Gats, their take on the Gats. I mean, people like the Sambas. I like the profile of the Adidas shoes quite a lot. I mean, certainly, I as a not very athletic person, that's not my aesthetic or whatever. I'm not here for Nike at all. New Balance has some nice. They're always doing collaborations, but I like it. Isn't it all plastic? Well, yeah, basically all sneakers are. Your sneakers are either canvas or low quality leather with a bunch of plastic foam padding. I mean, that's the two types of sneaker, basically. You don't like it? Wear real shoes like a man. Leather shoes that cost $600.
Liquor bottle that they put down, and then just piles and piles of what looked like merchandise that they were bringing back into the store. So maybe they were able to get there in time to arrest some of these people, or you know what? It could have been one or two people. We don't know at this point.
And a lot of the times, while we're still working to gather details and figure out exactly what went on, we really just have the video and the body language of officers to go off of right now. And based on their body language right now, things seem to be, relatively under control, in the sense that they are returning some of the presumed stolen merchandise. There's a liquor bottle there sitting at the edge of the table. You're gonna
is there?
To clear things out, as Mike said, and make sure everything is. Setting up a little fence and barricade there. That's something we've seen throughout the evening. I mean, I
appreciate that even when the helicopter moves to cover something actually halfway interesting, they still have the bottom left cam of guy idling in front of the shoe store. Just keep your eyes on it, okay?
First time we were seeing protesters and demonstrators putting up their own barricades were grabbing benches, right, and other items to just sort of set it up along the street. This one is a legitimate fence going, it seems, from the tree all the way across, and then there's this fire right there in the middle on those two barricade items. Those were two of the items, in fact, similar to the ones being used earlier on the makeshift barricades that folks were lining up against officers. But there's that group of officers set up right there on First Street, haven't really moved too much and just keeping an eye on the situation. A few protesters there. You see the ones with banners going up to the line and sharing their thoughts, but for the most part, it's a bit more scattered than normal, and it's getting a little bit more development here with the fence. Now they're moving it along up the street, it seems like.
That's definitely one of the bigger objects they've used tonight to try to do this. I wonder where they even got that fence.
I think normally that area just across the street from LAPD that is now an empty lot, that is always fenced off there, and it looks like this group of people have pulled that fence and into the roadway, blocking First Street there, right in front of the old LA Times building.
And Leslie and Gio, something interesting here. LAPD Central Division, reiterated their unlawful assembly announcement, but this time said those with cell phones in the area of the Civic Center have received the alert. So I'm wondering if they're using the wireless emergency alerts to target people in that area, because so the way the unlawful assembly works is they have to verbalize that somehow to the crowd, and usually the crowd is much more condensed, and they do that.
I gotta say, is it really just like these dozen people left? It's pretty late, man. They're still out there, Heartwarming. Japanese soldier found still fighting in forest 30 years after war ended, things are going to pick back up tomorrow, even if it's a work day. Are there live feeds from the protesters? I don't think much is going on right now, I think Fox 7 is silent, which is boring. Oh. Breathed in too much Waymo fumes.
Damn it.
Oh.
Like, came with the horses. Yeah. They parked their cars and they pushed the crowd that was shooting. We're at.
Seems pretty chill. I feel like Los Angeles is at its most beautiful at night downtown because it's so seedy in so many places that it's almost charming. The roads are empty. Because, well, it's late. There's not as many cars out. So you're just kind of like wandering in this endless haze of street lights and traffic lights. Everything's so big. I don't know. It is liminal. I agree. I think that's an appropriate use of the term because nothing's open. So you're not stopping anywhere. You just kind of like wander. It's also hostile? Yeah, in a way. Yeah, in a way. Okay, I'm from Memphis, but ain't the rule that you get shot downtown after dark at best? No, come on. It's not that dangerous. Remember when someone was like, bro, you think crime's not a problem in Canada? Walk the streets of downtown Vancouver and then see what you have to say, or something. And then somebody found Vancouver at like the top of North America's safest cities list or something. That was fucking great. Was that Toronto, not Vancouver? Okay, whatever. Point still. That was fucking funny. You're walking the streets of Toronto, yeah. The mean, mean streets. Whew. Anyway, you know, walking around downtown, look, okay, I've walked through Skid Row before, and I've walked through East Hollywood at night. It's not great. I wouldn't do it. But, you know, for the most part, it's just poverty. And people get scared of poverty. Look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm some kind of, like, you know, I'm not, like, above it all or whatever. Walking around, like, Hollywood late at night or around, like, the Union Station, which is next to Skid Row, of course, you know, in that area, you walk, and it's, like, 11 p.m., and some guy walks up to you and says, "Hey, you have a minute?" That's a little spooky. I think you're violating the social contract, scary nighttime man. I don't need you talking to me. I am trying to go to a friend's house. Do not talk to me, please. But for the most part, you're fine. You just keep your head up and you say, "Sorry, man." Wee woo. Another shoe store. Wee-woo.
They're throwing rocks.
Larger protester crowd. Let's see. Jeremy Reed. Oh, this is the crime cruise fella. By the gay building. By the dick. The gay dick. Oh. Hell yeah. Collateral. I don't know if I've heard of that. Collateral.
Oh shit. Right, here come all the cops.
LA is beautiful in a very specific way, but I would say that it remains hostile to humans who live in it. Like there's some specific kinds of beauty, but it's not like, you know, sort of you'd want to live there beauty. It's more like you can appreciate a hostile landscape. Sort of the, you know, you can say like a jungle is beautiful, but that doesn't mean you want to live there. Oh.
Damn.
The dude right next to me set the trash can on fire right before the cops started moving in.
Pog.
Get everybody running.
It's rich people playground beautiful. LA is not a rich people playground. Downtown LA, the area we're here, East Hollywood, these areas are largely frequented by poor people. Wealthy people in Los Angeles live up north of Santa Monica or north of Sunset. They live in the hills. You know, I for the most part, when you interact with people down here, it's, you know, poor people hell. Whereas like middle class LA, well, you have to be at least earning a middle class salary to afford poor people housing in most of Los Angeles, so. Damn, they're shooting off.
In the fires.
Citywide TAC 2 channel 44 is restricted for this occurrence. Attention all areas, this is a tactical alert broadcast to the major incident in Central Division. The city's on tactical alert status. Citywide TAC 2 channel 44 is restricted for this occurrence.
I'm the trespass suspect there now, 4800 Valley Boulevard, code 2, incident 3757.
I'm surprised that the sheriff didn't block the street that's ahead of us right here.
Wait, those are actually like kids. Were you out protesting, or are you just, you know, hanging out? Probably protesting, because a lot of them were wearing masks. Oh? What are you... What? What?
Oh, that dude looked crazy.
What the fuck? You were 3 lanes over. What the fuck was that? Wait, no. What were you doing there? Fucking LA drivers. Yeah, what do you, you gotta smile. You're like, oops. Oopsie me. I'm a fucking retard. Oh, you can see him smiling. You can see his teeth. Fucking, you're 3 lanes into the wrong. Okay.
What the?
Sorry, I'm retarded. Yeah, so I don't know why he's Italian. It's probably not, because it's you know,
rowdy
Los
right
Angeles. It's not New Jersey or New York.
Oh shoot! Look at all the cops moving in. Look at all the cops moving in on the right.
Oh shit!
Oh shh! They're shooting at this whole crowd.
What crowd?
So they parked behind.
What are they shooting at?
They're shooting everybody that's running up toward City Hall.
Where?
I can see them just like popping and reloading.
Yeah, wait, just point your camera at the fucking... What are they shooting at?
Oh my god, they have this whole intersection out.
17 is yours.
What? Yeah, there's the cops. What are they shooting at?
Hard right there. Look at all the smoke.
Oh my god.
Dude. Let's get crazy.
Okay. Overhead view.
Outside City Mutual Aid that are coming in. I just so close. I was curious if you're, and John, I don't know if you're in a position to look at it, but I just wanted to see if the one now City ever get into a position where
okay, hold on. Triangulate.
One spot to another, just continuing to cause havoc, and you just wonder when they'll get.
This is the intersection that driver just passed through. The driver was over here and went down this way.
Tired and bored of it, or if they'll ever.
The cops are right here on a line. So the cops marched forward and fired. They fired in this direction. At what? What did they fire at?
Get into a position where LAPD can just, you know, run in and make an arrest there as they're now sitting here. And I believe that is that the federal courthouse? I think that, yeah, that is the federal courthouse, yeah. So, you know, we saw that sign vandalized earlier. And John, I don't know if you're in a position to look at it, but I just wanted to see if the 101 had ever reopened. You know, it looked like on our traffic maps it's still listed as black.
Look at the intersection.
I was curious if that ever got resolved by CHP. And no, it doesn't look like it. I mean, it's up to law enforcement. Well, hey, John, let's he's outside to see, moving some ourselves.
Do not time.
And
sorry, the fucking 4-year-old managing the camera from the helicopter would rather look at the wee-woo cars than look at the fucking intersection. I want to know what they fired at.
Right underneath. Oh my god, they just like popping that sign on the right. PD headquarters. Oh shoot.
Okay, there's people running this way, but why would the cops fire at somebody that far away? You're not even achieving anything. Like they're already dispersing. Closer view, they moved up. Okay, now they're at the base of the courthouse. Oh, we're with SoCal Shorts! SoCal Shorts was the one who got cracked in the head the other night, right? Took a break after that? Yeah? Okay. Okay, here we are. Wait, is that the guy? Oh, hey, fucking Worlds Collide. I think this is the... Yeah, see here, there's the camera he's using. We're fucking memento putting the pieces together. We're building a comprehensive 3D diagram of the environment. Yeah, it's a cinematic universe. Or maybe it's not. I think maybe that's too late. Maybe it's not him. Because he would have already left minutes ago. Yeah, I think we're too late for that to be him. Okay, hold on.
Light that motherfucker!
Light that motherfucker. I can't say it like they said it because people would accuse me of being racist. I just thought it was funny. Okay, this person's the one who's firing off the fireworks. Okay. Yep. Now we're skedaddling. Oh, shit. There's the trash can that guy said somebody else lit on fire.
Run, run, run! Let's get out from
here. 3 trash cans on.
This is the group of kids where I said, oh, the youth are out. Yeah, okay, I remember. I remember the black dress, white jacket lady. Reconstructing. Reconstructing. So it's just kids being delinquent? Always has been. Cops move forward.
What happened?
Last night, something in the fire. I was far away too. You could see it on the news.
Got hit in the head.
You just saw
Hell yeah, brother.
In the fire. Just straight up. I didn't see it coming though. I was standing there. It don't look like
Okay. Cops are in front of the federal courthouse.
from them, it's a fire.
Now we're live.
They got me on the fire. It's under there, but you shouldn't take it off. I'm not supposed to take it off till tomorrow. But the fire, something hit me. I was like this. You can see on the news feed. You can see this projectile just boom. Yeah. But I wanted to be the stinking.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the damn.
I had to get the shit they shot me
with.
No, but that's
gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
That's scary.
Chaos and views when fire sets in. What they don't understand, this is just the beginning.
Right.
Okay. Never mind. We've transcended scary mask. Now we're a character.
The earthquake is just setting in.
Right.
But it's all right. They want us to feel pain because they can't bear the pain that we gonna make them feel.
Right. They sat back all this time. He going back. He gonna get shot.
Oh.
Okay, they're gonna shoot at us now. Okay, I am gonna move back.
What are they shooting at?
Let's go this way. They agitated him. That guy had a leather mask.
The way things are going right now, honestly, it seems like it's gonna just keep being like this. Like belligerents scuffing with the cops, like, late into the night until the morning when they go home to go nappy time. I wonder what that means, like, for the state of the protests. Widespread belligerency is only going to get more common, you know? Where even is the protest? There is no protest right now. There was a protest earlier in the day. Right now it's midnight. There's no protest right now. People are sleeping. This is a lot milder than last night. Last night, it was louder in one spot, but it was also, like, concentrated. This time, it seems like, the police are running all up and down the place, just trying to deal with, you know, kids, vagrants, or whatever. It's basically impossible to contain this kind of social unrest. Los Angeles is just too big, you know? It's not like you can cordon off the commercial district. The whole fucking city is a commercial district, you know? There's always people out.
But if you remind me, I'll do it. Dang, look at that. Look at that. They're coming in strong. They're coming in over there. Tell them.
Is it possible to exhaust the cops? I mean, like, an individual cop, sure. The LAPD? It's not really a matter of whether or not you're exhausting the LAPD. You have to think about the operational, like, the goals here, right? The goal is to protest ICE. LAPD is just there to protect the city, you know? But the point of the protesting is ICE. So I don't really think this helps the protesting, you know? If the protesting was like a broader, like, anti-police kind of deal, it might be a little bit more applicable. But I think these are mostly going to be considered separate deals. When are they getting the National Guard in? Well, there's some here, but more are coming. Somebody earlier said that some National Guardsmen were spotted heading down the I-5, but I don't know if that's true. In the long run, you do want to make ICE's work intolerable. Board pipe, thank you. My goodness. I'll read donos soon. I don't want to be partial, but thank you very much. Will they be there tomorrow? ICE or the protesters? The answer is yes to both. Big fella. Look at that guy. He's got a big fella stride. Tips. Tips. Is this different from the protest Trump sent the military in for? Yeah, but I mean, Trump sent the military in, like, for funsies, so, you know, whatever. Was ICE prevented from arresting people today? To my knowledge, and I could be totally wrong, I don't think ICE did any operations today. I could be wrong on that. But my understanding is that they didn't. Where are the National Guard? The National Guard were deployed to protect ICE. So they're not here. Well, actually, right now the cops are surrounding a federal courthouse. So the National Guard could be moved here. I think the protests are making it hard for them to do their operation. Yeah, of course. There's so much attention on them, you know? How the fuck is ICE going to bust a business to get at some immigrants when the entire city is abuzz with, you know, civil unrest and people describing in detail the actions of all the ICE agents? You know, it's not a good environment for ICE to work, which is exactly the point. Whoa. What does ICE even hope to accomplish come back tomorrow? Hey, buddy, gore warning. I mean, ICE is largely here to serve the federal government's interest in exacerbating the protests to justify martial law. Like, ICE and the National Guard have been deployed here to make people angry and belligerent so that Trump can use that as an excuse to make, I don't know, criticizing him illegal. I saw some posts on Twitter about ICE raids / abduction sightings in the LA suburbs. Is that true? Okay, then maybe they were able to conduct operations. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it. Jesus Christ. ABC News suspends Terry Moran after Trump administration condemns hater post. Fuck, that's really bleak. Terry Moran I mean, he's no intern, I'll tell you that much. He made a Twitter post essentially saying that Stephen Miller runs on hate, which is completely true. Stephen Miller is an insanely hateful person. It's what drives him. They fucking suspended him because he criticized Trump and Miller on Twitter. Jesus Christ. Moran said both Trump and Miller are world-class haters. For Trump, he said hatred is only a means to an end, and that end is his own glorification. For Miller, on the other hand, hatred is his spiritual nourishment. Moran later deleted the tweet and didn't post anything further. Trump administration officials condemned Moran and said the post reflected poorly on ABC News. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said they've reached out to ABC to inquire how they plan to hold Terry accountable. Dude, it's over. The complying in advance? Holy shit, man. ABC News stands for objectivity and impartiality in its news coverage and does not condone subjective personal attacks on others. Jesus fucking Christ. Disney doesn't want to get the plug pulled on their fucking news pass, I guess. But those are objective facts. It doesn't matter whether or not they're objective facts. Disney owns ABC? Yes. But it's highly unusual for a network correspondent like Moran to publish such a politically charged piece of commentary. Why would it be out of the ordinary for a news commentator to have political opinions? We are so fucked, dude. Genuinely, we have the worst political media in the Western world. Nothing else even comes close. You can go look at the mainstream news channels in any other country. Nothing comes close to the degree to which we are cucked. It is fucking insane. I don't know, man. I have no idea how we're supposed to dig. Like, every other crisis we've been in as a nation has had, at least to some extent, the ability for the media to criticize it. If we're at this point where, like, Fox News anchors and White House officials can go on and just, like, engage in open libel or slander against people with no recourse whatsoever, and then an off-air Twitter post, which is correct, by the way, by another senior newscaster, not like an intern or something. This guy landed an interview with the president, and he gets suspended for it. I genuinely have no idea how you get out of that. I have no idea. I don't know.
It's like, what did I do? What did I do to get cussed at? T-Mobile being rushed. Is it really ongoing down there?
The media's always been like this. I don't want to be libbed up or whatever, but no, it hasn't. Like, on some issues, like the Iraq War, sure, but this level of, like, media, alignment or complacency or complicitness or whatever, it's very, very bad now. All right, we're getting the lag here.
Do those kind of operations there. Now, obviously, that is, you know, purely if they're going to be able to.
With what looked like objects, I shouldn't say rocks there, but it looked
what looked like objects. Fascinating.
Like some pretty large objects that we could make out from SkyCal here, and that's the situation we saw a lot of time when you know, law enforcement vehicles made their way down a street and maybe didn't have a huge force with them.
Right, and not the only time we saw something like that, because protesters were trashing and destroying CHP patrol vehicles. This was the most dramatic moment, arguably, of the day. Throwing
I didn't see nothing.
Lime scooters, a bike, a street sign. That's the one you just saw. Concrete blocks from the bridge over the 101 freeway near Alameda Street, and you see officers there throwing back smoke, and then protesters throwing it back down toward officers. Notice how they had to, you know, stay under the overpass just to, you know, maintain some semblance of safety, because there were moments where they would come back out and they would just be pelted with whatever was being thrown from up top, and in some cases some really close calls.
Yeah, and at one point, leaf blowers were used when, you know, officers deployed tear gas there.
Hey, they're doing the tactics.
People setting CHP cars on fire. We heard from the LAPD police chief, who told us that they were seeing some of these people, Mike, come in with backpacks with
live?
large,
no, this is
possibly
older.
boulders in them and hammers that they would chip up and then pick those pieces up and throw at officers or their vehicles.
Yeah, and that's when he was talking about the professional kind of protesters that were coming in here and doing some of this stuff. The ones that showed up with leaf blowers, the ones that showed up with hammers, the ones that knew how to do this.
Yeah, and these are...
and then this situation, right?
Right, because CHP cars being lit on fire from protesters, and you notice the fire extinguishers from the left side. That's, again, those are CHP officers putting it out from just underneath the overpass, because anytime they got too close in, there you go, right there, then he would have to step away because fireworks would be lit off, along with a number of other items being thrown their way.
At one point, you saw one of those CHP officers use pepper spray, their pepper spray to help put it out, as well as a fire extinguisher.
There's people rushing T-Mobile right now, cops en route. Look where? Look at what? Look here. I'm looking. T-Mobile?
And then this is...
Can you hear me now? Is that T-Mobile or is that Verizon? T-Mobile? T-Mobile?
Okay, maybe.
T-Mobile?
I mean, they just had those protesters right on top of them, throwing anything they could at them.
No way, we were just seeing this.
And you can see those...
T-Mobile?
Everyone, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, they will.
The shoes were a red herring. Fuck.
And not just that, but remember, there were moments where there would be protesters up top and lighting, either kindling cardboard on fire and then tossing it down to try and light the actual vehicles on fire before eventually succeeding.
Chat, were only able to see the future.
That was a pretty dangerous situation at one point. Even a CHP
I'll respond to that at the end of stream.
Decided to try to walk out, and they were just pelted with those objects as well. And again, you're seeing that street sign. Someone is able to pull a street sign.
No, I won't respond to it at the end of the stream. I'll respond right now. First of all, thanks to 20. But I will say, you're right. Trump's not long for this world. He's an old man. In all likelihood, like, he will be deified after his passing, right? He dies, he slips on like a dog shit, hits his head or whatever. Everything after that will be done in his name. It's what he would have wanted, etc. The question is, which Trump administration officials have the charisma and presence to replace him in the public eye? Because it's not enough to just say you're going to follow the word of dear leader. You need to have the sauce. J.D. Vance doesn't have the sauce. Miller, as much as he might be the brains of this operation, does not have the sauce. Who has the sauce? I don't know. I don't think any of them do, to be honest with you.
Out from where it was standing and toss it over.
But Trump's shadow will loom long after his passing.
They're using some, what we believe is possibly smoke. We know that they also use tear gas. But some of these people so bold, they pick it up with their bare hands and throw it right back.
And even before that, when you know, they were on the on-ramp and then on the 101.
His press secretary. I'm not joking when I think that Carolyn Leavitt actually is one of the higher-ups in terms of potential to replace him. She's very smart. She's very competent. She's a good speaker. They would have to do some groundwork to do it, but I think she's a more viable candidate than most of the other ones.
Back and forth, right, of the smoke canisters between officers and between protesters. The officers would throw it their way, and then they would throw it back, and then they would kick it their way, and then protesters would kick it back towards CHP and other law enforcement, and it just became a prolonged back and forth to try and get control of that crowd before eventually CHP did manage to push the crowd off of the freeway back onto the on-ramp, and then beyond the on-ramp back onto the main streets there.
Yeah. You know, this was a situation that went on for quite some time through our downtown area. Again, as Mike mentioned, the 101 southbound still not open at this hour, and you wonder when they will reopen it given Monday morning traffic.
Nice
and this is a situation we're talking about
the bricks.
Here.
Yeah.
The LAPD police chief mentioning that people were
that? Oh, you're getting smaller
concrete.
bricks. Okay.
They were smashing it up.
Okay,
and then,
okay, all right,
using
okay.
that as essentially weapons to throw at either law enforcement patrol cars, or
maybe he's just having fun with it.
Yeah, use hammers, and I mean, the video makes it pretty clear. You're just throwing it up and using gravity to break off into smaller pieces that you can then throw, and that's
using gravity.
Why a lot of the debris was still lingering over the 101 bridge and overpass, because it was just layered there, and it's a lot of cleanup to have to do after eventually they did get those vehicles out from the 101, and then but still not open, so a lot of work still left to do and to clean up.
Yeah, earlier tonight we did speak to Sheriff Robert Luna. Take a listen to what he told us.
What you're going to be seeing in the next shouldn't be too long from now, you're going to see a lot of law enforcement officers, deputy sheriffs coming in to assist our brothers and sisters at LAPD. We have additional CHP officers coming in as well. So I'm going to send this very strong message.
They're playing old. I don't want to look at old footage right now. Okay, SoCal Shorts is going on a personal journey.
This is the area where we got that emergency evac order.
Personal journey. Done.
2012 Code 6 259 South Broadway.
I think SoCal Shorts might be out for the count.
Trash can set on fire.
Yeah, they're just playing old footage on KCal. Is that it then? Is that it for the night? Has the news decided to let sleeping dogs lie at least for 5 to 6 hours? Yeah, it seems like the night might be over. They got sleepy. I'm getting sleepy. Besides, I'm going to have to wake up early tomorrow and cover the same damn thing. It might be worse tomorrow. Maybe it won't be. Who knows? Ready for day 4? Ready for each day in the rest of my life. Oh, boy. We had to check in on the shoe store. You gonna cover Greta being kidnapped tomorrow? Yeah, probably. That seems likely. It's just hard to pull my eyes from this.
We saw trees. There were trees that were also set on fire there, but did address this situation, saying that this person obviously was arrested and that they would face multiple charges here. Mike has a little more information if we want to.
Yeah, multiple charges, and then one thing that we're going to try to find out in the coming days, hopefully tomorrow, there is social media video that I got tagged in tonight saying that he had done something similar last.
Okay, so possibly had done something similar to this last
So we're definitely
night.
going to follow up with LAPD and figure out who he was, if they're accusing him of anything from yesterday.
I saw
it's certainly a wild situation.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us this evening. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles.
Our coverage continues in KCAL News Mornings.
God, look at my city. They just opened a transit center here at LAX. It's supposed to be quite beautiful. Well, they sure know what to show to represent the city. Let me find that. One second. Let me find the transit center. LAX Transit Center. Just because I haven't really looked at it.
And a new era of transit in Los Angeles starts today.
The LAX Metro Transit Center station finally opens. Mario, good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Metro says over 1 million riders use the system each day, and they'll now have access directly to the airport, one of the busiest in the country and definitely the busiest in Southern California. I have Edna Stanley joining me now with Metro. She's the Deputy Chief Operations Manager here. What can you tell us? We're
Each and from the drawing a blank in Norwalk. I'm sorry, in Norwalk can connect through this station.
Okay, wow, that's really big. Wow. And it's got like tables and charging ports and stuff like that. Okay.
So it's a huge transit hub. We're actually on.
And Howard, watch your step. We're coming off the escalator here.
We're actually on the mezzanine level.
Wow, look at this. It's pretty fucking big.
Now, so passengers that are coming from LAX, if they come downstairs, if we walk around the corner here, you'll be able to see our new customer service center. So if they have any questions about how to connect to the Metro or how to get to the LAWFUL shuttle, which is running every 10 minutes out of the station, there'll be ambassadors and customer service representatives that can help them on their journey. Downstairs, the station actually has a huge bus plaza, which services 6 Metro bus routes as well as 8 municipal bus routes.
Wow. Damn. That's actually pretty nice. Huh.
So we're looking at this. This is all brand new. You mentioned the trains running through here, the buses as well, and Metro riders, they're going to be able to access all trains and buses free today.
Yes, they will. So beginning at 5 p.m. this afternoon, there's going to be a huge party. The station will officially open. We will have free rides all weekend long. So come join us this afternoon.
Very good. Well, it looks great. Thank you for explaining what we're looking at here. I appreciate it. We'll be talking more throughout the morning. For now, that is the latest here in Westchester.
Hey, check out this fucking cat. Give me the stinky.
Hold her steady. That's Ian.
You have to let me grab her butt. Hello, pigeon. Looking cursed as always. Oh, you want to escape? You long for escape? No. You want to be in a blanket?
No, hold her. Come on.
Whoop. Got her. Hey. You're so stinky. Look at how much her tail's wagging. Ooh, you hate being held right now. You hate it. Stinky little cat.
Don't go downstairs. You're not allowed.
Somebody said LAPD is giving updates. Give me a link. Give me a link. LAPD. LAPD. Give me the link.
at the brand new LAX Metro Transit Center. We'll send it back to you.
Is this a
God damn, I've never seen anyone hold cats so poorly. Please improve. Hey, listen, okay? If you think there's one correct way to hold cats, you clearly don't know what you're doing, all right? It's a very complicated subject.
It's going to have, like, you know, like shops and restaurants and things like that, so like travelers can stop in there, or is it just is it just a temporary place?
Yeah.
Well, I can kind of see in the distance here, are there going to be shops, concessions here?
There are. So there will be, this is the customer service center here, and then just around the corner there will be shops and concessions. So if passengers come through, say they have a little bit of time before their flight or before their train comes and they want to get coffee or a snack or something like that, they can grab something. The station is equipped with elevators and escalators, so if you have luggage, you don't have to worry about struggling to drag your luggage and things like that. The station is definitely very accessible. We have all.
Well, I think this looks lovely. Wait, what?
U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers at LAX found nearly 40 live beetles hidden in snacks from Japan. The insects, valued at nearly $1,500, were smuggled in without proper permits. Officials warn these beetles can damage crops and forests by eating plants and laying eggs. Exotic insects are highly sought after by collectors, fueling.
Huh. Okay, LAPD feed.
Fireworks at our officers.
Here we go.
That can kill
I found it myself.
And we have adapted our tactics to be able to have a chance to be able to take these people into custody and to be able to hold them accountable. We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars, and throw at other people. We've seen people with hammers, and you've broadcasted, breaking the bollards behind the federal building and taking the rocks, if you will, or pieces of concrete, and throwing them at officers. We've had liquid of who knows what description thrown at officers. There's no limit to what they're doing to our officers. And again, as I mentioned in my statement, I can't thank our folks enough and our partner agency police officials for going out there and taking care of the community and trying to be able to put themselves between the threat and the overall community. And they do this night in and night out. And in these past couple of nights, we've seen it at a level that I think disgusts every good person. Thank you, sir.
You just described some pretty violent and chaotic situations. What is your position on the National Guard being deployed? Do we need them here?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question, because I would have said that, you know, we could handle this. I believe that we would have gone through a number of steps before we'd have deployed the National Guard or requested deployment of the National Guard. We would normally go to 50% deployment to handle radio calls and do the business of policing, and everybody else would be focused on the initial problem. Beyond that, then we would request through the sheriff mutual aid, and that would bring in members of the 44 other police departments in LA County, as well as the sheriff's office. And so that didn't occur in this case because it wasn't done through the sheriff or through the up through the normal chain. It was done from the top down, from the president directing that happened, and then the National Guard was federalized. So they're working for the U.S. Army, not for the California State National Guard.
Do we need them?
Do we need them? Well, looking at it tonight, you know, this thing has gotten out of control. I think before I could answer that, I'd have to know more about what their capabilities are, what their role is intended to be able to make that determination. But we have great cops in Southern California here that work together all the time. So we have tremendous capability here. To say that we would go to that right away, I'd say we wouldn't have been there yet. Looking at the violence tonight, I think we got to make a reassessment.
Laurel,
yeah.
How has your department interacted with the National Guard, if at all, since they've been here?
I'd say very little, other than we had a conference call this afternoon. There aren't a whole lot of soldiers in place at this time. They're still incoming. But the people who are here, they're tremendous Americans here trying to do, they provide their service, doing the task that they're charged with. Our relationship has been tremendous overall with the National Guard. We worked right alongside them for 5 months during the Palisades fire. They were there every day in the beginning in large numbers, and then that narrowed down before they demobilized. But the relationship is overall tremendous. We're very, very good partners with them, and I hope they feel the same about us.
And when you look at the demonstrators who are people from the community who are upset about, the immigration raids, families being broken up, deportations happening, do you feel any sense of kinship with them, or about this situation, or do you see that there is need for more law enforcement and for more immigration enforcement in Los Angeles?
I think, the federal agents are enforcing federal immigration law, which is their right, and anybody can have their personal opinion on to what level that should be, who should they focus on, and those kind of things. I won't take a position on that because really that's not our focus, not our job. But when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people that we see during the day who are legitimately out there exercising their First Amendment rights and to be able to express their feelings about the immigration enforcement issue. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face masks.
Okay, yeah. This is old. We've now reached the point where we saw him talking past this. We might have hit that point a little while ago, but this is the point that I remember him talking earlier. Okay, so we got... Okay. Just wanted to see what else I could catch. All right. He does look a little bit like Bill Murray. That is true. There is a little bit of a Bill Murray-esque, affect, I would say. Guy in the back looks like Mussolini, too. You are correct. The guy in the back does... Well, actually, he looks a little bit like, Hector Salamanca to me. Got kind of that, the frowny face? You get me. All right. I have to be up early tomorrow, after all, because I'm probably going to be covering more of this. So, until then, I love you all very much. Take care. I said I was going to read donos, but I've run up against something of a wall, which is that I'm sleepy. So, I would rather go to sleep, but I'll read them tomorrow. Stream tomorrow? I have an appointment in the middle of the day tomorrow, but after the appointment, maybe I stream more. You know how it is. Take care. Get some exercise, drink some water. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you real soon, okay?